Hello, welcome to Intellipaat live webinar on how to become an Azure Data Engineer in 2022. Today's webinar is conducted by Mr. Amol Chhabra. He has more than 5 years of experience in field of cloud computing. He has worked as cloud engineer with many major MNCs like Media Agility and Nagaro. So let's welcome Mr. Amol into the session. Sir, over to you.
Sure. Thank you. Okay. So hello and welcome all of you. So I am Amol Chavda as introduced by my colleague. So I have total of 5 years of experience working in major cloud platform. Okay. So in today's webinar, what we will be doing is we will be learning about how to become a Azure data engineer in 2022. Okay. So our webinar is divided into various phases. Like first, we will learn about what is a data engineer and how working as a data engineer can grasp and grow your career in cloud engineering. Okay, so apart from that, we will learn about the tools which are available in Azure Data Engineering. Okay, and then we will be learning about the certification exam which Azure Data Engineering provides. Okay, so now let us start with this session. Okay, as I told you, the agenda will revolve around majorly on the data engineering. So first thing we will start with why data engineer is required. Okay. So currently, if we talk about in fields which you are working on, the most important thing throughout the world is data. Okay. And then we will learn about who is a data engineer and what are the tasks which a data engineer performs, day-to-day activities of data engineer, and the tools which are required for a data engineer to work. After completing this, we will start with the Azure Data Engineer certification, in which I will guide you through what exams we need to give to clear our Azure Data Engineering certification. Okay, and then we will move on to the career path, in which we can learn about how we can move forward our career and become a Azure Data Engineer. Then we will be learning about how becoming a data engineer can increase the job opportunities as well as your salary if you're working as a data engineer. Okay, then we will learn about some of these services which we need to learn for completion of our DP203 certification. Okay, so DP203 certification, all the DP series which we see here are conducted by Azure related to data practitioner and data engineer roles. Okay, and then we will see how to get started and work with this platform. Okay, after this session is webinar is over from my side. Okay, there will be a short Q&A session also. Okay, so now let us see why do we require data engineering. Okay, so now if you see, in today's world, data is one of the most important thing for each and every company. The data is used for analytics, that data is used for marketing companies, that data is used by the clients to generate certain. Apart from this data, medical data is also used by the companies so that they can check the medical history of a person and they can see what treatment they can give. Apart from this, data coming from space stations, data is coming through IoT devices, data is coming through your mobile phones. So all kind of data need analytics. With such huge type of data, there is a thing that we need to manage that data also. Okay, so here comes the term known as the data engineering. So data engineering revolves around being a data scientist and analytics and analyst who needs to work on data and give us the solution. Using those analytic and data scientist techniques, we can build solution for a better world. Okay, so a good example of data engineering can be, if we say about the good example, so let us assume if you are driving a car, okay, and that car has a IoT device. And let us assume you are driving a car and then suddenly there is a notification that your engine needs repair. Okay, now how does the car, being a machine, knows that your engine needs a repair? This is all due to data. The data which is collected by the IoT device is sent to the manufacturer of the car, so that using that analysis they can know how your car is performing, so that in case if they found some issue in the data, they can let you know prior to that problem leads to a major issue in the engine. So there can be more further example to that also. Okay. Now, if we say, why do we require data engineer? Okay. Now, according to the recent job, according to the DICE 2020 tech report, okay, it was said that the data engineering was one of the fastest growing job in technology with a 50 year over year growth in number of open positions. Okay. So now if you compare that with normal jobs like normal data and database administrator and normal job, you will see there is a drastic increase in the job opportunities and job openings once we talk about data engineering or data scientist. And there is overall 50% year on year growth. So let us assume for first year there were 1 lakh opening, then next year there can be 1,50,000 opening. So these openings always increases year by year. And in near future, data engineering might become one of the fastest growing job positions in throughout the world. Okay, now demand for this data scientist seems to be all companies talk about. Yet data engineers are more in demand than data scientists. Okay, now why data engineer are more in demand than data scientists is because data scientists do the limited task. Their task is to just make models from that, but the main task of the analytic, cleaning the data, okay, transferring the data from one place to another, converting the unstructured data to structured data, all this work is done by the data engineer. And currently we have very limited data engineers available in the industry. That's why near future it would be the fastest growing career for everyone. Okay, now if we compare average salary of an Azure data engineer in US, it is around $95,636 per annum. Okay, which is which is approximately near to $100,000 per annum. So which translate to $8,000 per month, and which is on the higher side, which is greater than the average income of a normal United States citizen. And then if we talk about India, the average income of an Azure data engineer is around 6.5 lakh per annum. Okay, which is also on the greater side as we compare. If we compare the Indian income here, the average income of an average income of a person working in India is around 4 lakh per annum. Okay. Now we will learn who is a data engineer and what does a data engineer does. Okay. Now, data engineers, as I have already defined, that data is one of the most important aspect in company. It is used for analytic, it is used for marketing research. Any kind of thing will require a data to get to a decision making. Okay. Even if you are searching for a home, okay, let us assume I'm going to market, I'm searching for a new home. I will analyze it, I will collect the data from each and every real estate agent. Using that data only, I can bring some analysis, and during that analysis, I can take my decisions. Okay. So this is how the data is important. Now, if you see that, if you're working as a data engineer, you would be responsible for finding underlying trends in data sets and developing algorithms to help make raw data more useful to the company. Okay. So me as a data engineer, what I will do is, if I'm working as a data engineer, I will collect the data set from multiple platforms as a raw data. And using certain algorithms and technique, I can churn out the important data from the raw data so that using that data, our company can decide on further decision which they need to take from that data. Okay. Apart from doing this, data engineers also have to manage and organize data, and also have to look into new trends or anomalies that will impact the sales of business. But the most important thing if you're working in a company are the sales, and sales are directly implemented to data. If a company has a huge amount of data and if they perform the analysis, a company can know when a customer needs a certain product. That is the power of data. That's why the data engineer job is one of the most important and one of the fastest growing thing, because without that data and without the data engineer, The raw data is not useful to any company. They need to make data in such a way that this data can be used to boost their sales. Okay. Now, if I talk about certain basic roles of a data engineer, the roles of a data engineer will revolve around three kinds of things. First is the general, who will perform who will perform every step, that data processing, managing data, and then analyzing data. Then there is the pipeline centric data engineers. Okay. So centric data engineers work with the data scientists, and their work is to collect the data. Their work is to create a pipeline that will collect the data and transfer the data to the destination for the data scientists to work on that data. Okay. And then there is the database centric. Database centric engineer directly work on the databases which are working on the data warehousing techniques. So data warehousing techniques can be Hadoop clusters, Azure data flow. So these kind of things. Okay. So again, generalist, which works on every possible step. Pipeline centric, who will work at the data flow jobs, that will be transferring or collecting your data from one place to another. And then database centric, who will directly work on the database warehousing layer. Okay. Now, if I talk about Azure Data Engineer, Azure Data Engineer Certification 2022. Now, for you to be Microsoft Azure Certified Data Engineer, you have to give two exams. Okay. So these are totally role-based exam. They are known as the DP 200 and DP 201 certification. Okay. Now, once you give both the exam, like that is DP 200 and 201, so you can see there is an and clause here. Means if you want to be qualified as a Microsoft Certified Azure Data Engineer Associate, in that case, you have to qualify for both DP 200 and DP 201 exam. And once you clear both the exam, you will earn a badge of a Microsoft Certified Azure Data Engineer Associate. Okay. So every Microsoft exam, like Azure Data Engineer, Architect Engineer, will involve around two things. First would be the implementation of service, and second would be the designing of the service. So first will involve around how to use that, how to how in a first exam will let you know about the introduction of service, how to use that service, and second is for designing and when to use those services. Okay, first is how to use those services, second when to use those service to design a data engineer architect solution. Okay, so first, if we talk about Microsoft Certified Azure Data Engineer Associate, currently this exam DP 200 and 201 will be replaced with DP 203 on February 23rd, 2021. So means this exam has been replaced with DP 203 currently. Okay. Now, previous time, as I said, you have to give two exams, DP 200 and DP 201. But with the recent progress, they have merged both the exam, that is DP 200 and DP 201. And now you have to give only single exam, DP 203. But that doesn't mean that DP 203 would be a simple exam. No, it would be mixture of both the 200 and 201. So still you have to work on both kind of preparation, that is how to use that data and when, how to use the service and when to use a certain service. Okay. Now, if we talk about the skills which are measured in a DP 203 exam, so as I told you, it will involve around design and implement data storage, design and develop data processing, design and implement data security, and the final would be monitor and optimize data storage and data processing. So it will involve around designing of the solution, developing of the solution, developing and designing security so that every data which you are storing inside Azure is stored. And then final would be monitoring and optimizing the storage so that the performance of the data storage, underlying data storage infrastructure is always on the higher side. So apart from that, it will also have, to give this exam, you need to have some basic knowledge of Python, SQL or Scala. So SQL, Python or Scala, any one of the language, if you have basic knowledge, it will go ahead. Okay. Apart from that, you need to have understanding about how does parallel processing work and how does data architecture or distributed processing works. Okay, now if I talk about Azure Big Data Engineer career, okay, apart from Azure Data Engineer, there is another career in this which will involve around Azure Big Data Engineer career. So big data is directly proportional to Hadoop clusters, and in Azure we have Azure Data Lake Storage and Azure Warehousing. So now if I talk about Azure Data Engineers, design and implement the management, monitoring, security, and privacy of data using the full stack of Azure Data Service. Okay. Now, as an Azure Data Engineer or as an Azure Big Data Engineer, your task would be, as we said, to implement, manage, and monitor and secure your data, which you are storing in Azure using the data-centric services which are provided by Azure. This is not usually for the experienced one. If you are a fresher, you can also give this exam, but you need to have some basic knowledge of Python or SQL. Okay. So now if we talk about some kind of Azure Big Data Engineer career or Azure Data Engineer career, so it will involve these kind of things. So if you go for position and opening and any kinds of requirement, so you need to have some basic knowledge of this. So that depends on the opening of the, if the opening is for the fresher, then they won't ask you for the for full experience with Python, SQL or any kind of thing. Fresh, it depends on the job opportunity or the job opening which a current company is having. Okay. Like if we say Azure Data Engineer or Azure Data Engineer / IBM DB2, and these are some of the job openings which are opened by two set of companies in Bangalore location. So if you see some of the key requirements and the position requirements here involve BSc in computer science, some background in computer science or mathematics, and minimum experience of 3 to 5 years. As you can see, with a 3 to 5 year experience and working on these kind of things, the package is also on the greater side if you compare it with other jobs. Okay. And same goes for here. In this, you need to learn about some basic things which are available in Azure, and you need to have some knowledge about it. Now, fresher, if you are talking about the fresher, the average salary which a fresher can get as an Azure data engineer is around 4 to 5 lakh per annum. Okay. And now if you compare that with other jobs as opening your career, it is actually 20 to 30% higher. Is BSc in computer science engineering mandatory? No. Okay. This is not mandatory. This is just the basic job description. Okay. Every company have its own job description. That is just a basic job description from a company's portal. Okay. This is not all jobs. That depends on the job descriptions. Okay. Now, if we talk about service, which we need to learn to earn our DP 2303 certification, is Azure Storage is the first. Now, Azure Storage itself involves four kind of subservices. That is blob, table, file, and queue. So blob is basically used to store your unstructured data. Table is used to store your NoSQL data. File is used as a EFS or a NFS protocol. And then queue is basically used to store your MQ related, like IBM MQ, Amazon SQS. So this is similar kind of storage. So prerequisite is to get hands-on SQL, no, only basic. So you need to have basic knowledge of SQL or Python. Okay, even if you don't have the knowledge, then also you can give, but the knowledge of SQL and Python will give you a heads up using this exam. Okay. And then apart from that, it will also cover, as you can see, if you are not familiar with SQL services in DP 203 exam, these services like SQL database warehousing will already be covered. Okay. Then there is the NoSQL. Inside NoSQL, this is known as the document DB, and document DB inside Azure is also known as the Cosmos DB. And then there are another service for big data, which will involve data lake analytics and data lake storage. Okay. Now, apart from this, it will also involve streaming services. Now, streaming services are basically streaming services and data factory services are basically used for data engineers who are working as a pipeline centric engineer, because their task is to collect the data and transfer the data to the target location. Okay. So for that, You can use Stream Analytics, IoT Hub, and Event Hub. Okay. Do you remember I just gave the example of if there is an IoT device attached to your car, and then using that IoT device, the data would be collecting using this IoT Hub. And then from the Stream Analytics, data can be sent to the data factory, where a data engineer can write certain algorithms to get the meaningful data. And then data engineer who is working as a database centric, they can write her SQL queries, or he can write his NoSQL queries to perform analysis on that data. And then data scientists can write their algorithms to get meaningful insight from that data and write some machine learning algorithm that will help your car's IoT device to learn more about the car and create a artificial intelligence architecture for that. Okay. Then apart from that, the service which will also be covered is caching service, that is related to search, that is related to Redis cache or Memcache, and then search, which is also known as the Elastic Search inside this. Okay. So search is a Elastic Search service which is basically using Azure Data Engineering. And then apart from this, there would be given knowledge about Apache Spark, Apache Hive, and Hadoop. So these three are some of the tools which will also be covered in this certification exam. Okay. Now, any questions, anyone? Okay. Now, any questions, anyone? Okay. Any questions, anyone? Okay. Any questions from anyone? Or do you need me to repeat something? Okay, I can see one question. Okay. So if there are no more questions, okay, maybe the team can pitch in. And if there are no questions, okay, I will ask the candidates to please stay until our manager is joining in for further explanation in this webinar. Okay. So may I ask the team member who you can just take over the session now?
Yeah, hi. Great. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah, sure. I'll take it forward from here. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
So good evening, everyone. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying the session. And thank you so much for the wonderful session by the trainer. I'm just here to give you a complete walkthrough about what Intellipaat is and what we deliver. We have professional training courses. I'll introduce myself. I'm Mohammed Burhan. I'm one of the course consultant and senior advisors at Intellipaat. And I will be just giving you a short walkthrough about the programs, what we have, and the trainings, what we deliver on Azure. And I have my contact details put up here. You can either connect me over the call or WhatsApp if you have any course inquiry with respect to your requirements. You can easily reach out to me on the sources given here. So I hope someone can confirm me on the screen sharing. I hope my screen is visible to you. Can someone confirm that on the chat? I hope I'm audible to you all. Can someone confirm it? Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, thank you, Abhishek. Yeah, so let's move on forward now to introduce about Intellipaat. Intellipaat is an online certification training provider. We're there in the industry for almost 10 plus years, and we have been providing high quality training and education in various IT technologies, which is in demand, starting with big data, cloud, and so many more. So, and we have been providing online training for the past 5, 6 years, and we have a lot of professional training programs, which is collaborated with Microsoft and so many other MNCs and governing bodies. We also have university-based programs where we have collaboration with different IITs and NITs in India, and we have degree programs as well. And when I talk about Azure, as a trainer walk through the entire Azure program, the career roadmap and options, what you have under the Azure, I'll be giving how exactly you can start, because if you are looking for a training or a If you're looking for guidance to start your career in cloud, as today everybody is moving towards digital transformation, we are relying on virtualization, we are working on serverless technology, and Microsoft Azure is one of the very leading cloud service provider in the industry. So training yourself, let's say even if you're coming from a technical background or a fresher or a non-IT individual looking to make a switch into cloud is always a wise choice. But yes, investing in a good training and giving your time and effort, gaining some technical experience, getting some certification is also very important. So we are here to help you with all of these things here. If at all any of you are planning for a professional career on Azure, we have the complete support. Now, as we discussed all the session, there are various domains or subset in the Azure. We have the architecture part, we have the administration, we have the development, we have the automation with DevOps and integration on data engineering, and so many more. And we have courses with respect to the same. If you are on intellipaat.com, if you search for Azure as a keyword, you might be able to find the various results here. I'll give you a walkthrough about one program which is completely designed to become an Azure architect or a complete Azure cloud engineer. So when I say an Azure architect or when I say a Microsoft Azure cloud platform, if you are doing a training on Azure Masters, you can make a career for the next entire decade also on Azure and keep on growing from there on. So this will give you end-to-end knowledge about multiple aspects on Azure. You will learn about the administration side of Azure. You will learn about the architecting and designing and infrastructure and providing solutions on Azure cloud. You will learn about development and so many other things. And also you might see the Microsoft logo here. So this entire program is officially designed and collaborated with Microsoft. Intellipaat is one of the Microsoft associated learning partner in India. And whatever training we deliver related to Microsoft technologies are all directly partnered with them. And the training delivery will also be by a Microsoft certified trainer or an instructor who has 12 plus years or even 15 plus years of experience in the industry and working at least 5 plus years in the respective domain. So the best part about Intellipaat's learning journey here is the instructor who's going to be training you is a real-time experienced working professional who has good amount of technical exposure and currently working in the technology. And also he or she is a certified trainer. So you get to learn from an individual who has working experience and currently being exposed to the same technology. That's the main privilege, and a Microsoft certified trainer will deliver the program. So this master's program has around 9 courses in total. So in the right hand side, you may be able to find the courses mentioned here. I'll give you a walkthrough about the courses one by one, and this entire program includes 9 courses and 18 plus real-time projects. So when I say projects, these are live industry-oriented projects into different domains where the companies are actually working on. So you will get to work on real-life challenges, gain some practical exposure, and add some weightage in your resume. In cloud, getting through an interview, cracking an interview will only be possible if you have some hands-on exposure or if you have some real-time experience. So don't worry if you're not getting that in the company which you're working on. If you pursue this training, you will surely be able to get that exposure as well. And overall, it's 205 hours of online classroom training. I'll walk you through the courses one by one here. When you click on the program, you'll see the curriculum and you can see live courses and self-paced. So in the live courses, you can see all the blue dots. It's a combination of 6 courses in the online classroom training. And initially, we'll start with Azure administration training, administrator training for AZ 104. And we follow the certification guidelines as per Microsoft here. Now, anybody who wants to start their career in Azure, going through a training on Azure administration is always good because it covers the end-to-end architecture. You learn about a lot of services on Azure. You get to learn from the basics and introduction to what is cloud. And whatever we teach you theoretically in the online sessions, there would be hands-on exercises also in the live classes where instructors will teach you how to practically implement it. So this is a very practical oriented program here. So you learn about a lot of things on Azure in the administration part. You learn about storage services, you learn about virtual machines, Active Directory, RBAC, authentication, containers. And even if you're new to these terminologies, you don't need to worry. Anybody can learn cloud, even a fresher or even a non-IT professional coming from a different background who's new to this entire technology is also most welcome here. It's our responsibility to train you from the basics and help you become an Azure architect. So these are all the concepts included. As you are able to see, every module has its own hands-on exercises. If you learn about Azure networking, we practically teach you how load balances and networking services work, how to do traffic management or authentication, Active Directory. All of these respective modules has its own hands-on exercises. Now, once you're proficient on the entire architecture or the administration part, then we go through projects. So the instructors will guide you through few projects initially in the online classes where you are getting a guidance support as you're new to this technology. And all of them are real-time projects, and we have a lot of case studies also included here. You might be able to see. So this is the administration part of Azure. And then we get into the Azure developing solutions where you learn about development and operations and monitoring and security on the Azure cloud, entirely into the development part. So that is a second course included here. And the third program is Azure Solutions Architect 303 and 304. So when I say Solutions Architect, this is one of the very important factor here. Solutions architects are responsible for designing and implementing solution on cloud and migrating applications or databases or resources into cloud. So the migration is the current market right now. If you're working in IT, you might be able to see every company is literally moving into cloud, and you're getting a lot of opportunity internally to make a switch also. So if you have a good certification and good exposure, this particular part is going to be very much helpful for you if your company is migrating into Azure in the future. So that's the Azure Solutions Architect. Then we also get into Azure DevOps. Now, when I say DevOps, though it is entirely a different thing from cloud, but DevOps has a huge application in cloud. Anyone who's trying to apply for a job in cloud as an admin, developer, or an engineer, you are expected to have at least some knowledge about automation and few tools under DevOps, especially CI/CD pipelines like Jenkins and Docker. With the help of Jenkins and Docker, you should have a knowledge about Kubernetes, and you should have a knowledge about Terraform. These things are very important. So here we teach you from the basics and introduction to DevOps. We get in detail to the various aspects of DevOps, the testing part, the integration part. There are various stages to DevOps, and anybody can learn DevOps. We'll completely start from the scratch here. And once you learn DevOps, DevOps is all it's entirely used for an automation purpose on cloud, automating the entire software development lifecycle and making deployments and production and releases very easier and giving good quality and assurance too. And everything is moving towards digital transformation and automation and virtualization right now. So learning DevOps is always one step ahead in the current market right now. So we will teach you about DevOps, and after completion of that, we will teach you how to connect and integrate DevOps tools on cloud. You can see the integration part. We will walk you through Azure DevOps and its architecture, the Azure repos, Azure pipelines, artifacts, test plans, web plans, and so many more. So this is the Azure DevOps content, and you had gotten a walkthrough on this as well. And similarly here also, every module has hands-on exercises, and we have real-time projects and challenges according to it. And then we get into Azure Data Engineering. So this is a complete data factory training on Azure. It involves ETL operations and talking about data pipelines and data engineering. It's all about data and carrying out data engineering on Azure Cloud. This also has a very good market. Our trainer also gave you a complete walkthrough about the data engineering on Azure, and you must have got a complete exposure on the same. So this is a particular content. You learn about various databases, you learn about pipelines, you learn about Azure SQL, you learn about Azure Databricks, data pipelines, and so many more. So this is entirely into data engineering on Azure. And eventually the final concept, what we will teach you, the course is MS SQL Server. So MS SQL Server is also a very core knowledge which you might require if you're moving into cloud. It can be very beneficial for you. MS SQL is all about database. SQL is all about communicating with the database, structured query language. So when you're on cloud, you might be exposed to a lot of, there would be a lot of virtual databases and virtual storages. So understanding SQL is always helpful, and also connecting data engineering with data engineering with the knowledge of SQL can also be beneficial. One, database knowledge is always helpful to secure a career in cloud. It's an add-on advantage. So we have designed it here. So this is MS SQL, Microsoft SQL Server DBA, and database. We'll teach you about the development part, execution, operations, and so on. These are all the 6 courses here. And the best part about the training is you can do the training program at your own convenience. There is no specific timeline or there is no specific restriction. You can do the courses as per your requirement. You can do a course and take a pause in between, and then give it 2-3 months of time to do the remaining courses also. You can also follow your own sequence based on what is required at that particular point of time. You can start with Azure Admin, then jump to DevOps, and then go to Solutions Architect as well. It gives you flexibility here, and the training will be starting from the basics and introduction. So it would be our responsibility to train you here. And you can see 3 complementary courses provided. These are self-paced courses for add-on, skills to be an Azure architect, which can be helpful or beneficial for you. So these are, one is Linux. Now Linux is an operating system, and 80% of the company working even on cloud, or even if they're working on local on-prem, they would prefer to use a Linux operating system. So Linux is also getting covered here, and you have a basic training on cloud computing essential, just as an add-on we are provided, and the fundamentals of Azure. So these things are just add-on, and all of the basics and everything would anyway be getting covered from the starting to the end here. So these are all the 9 courses in the package. Now this is designed to become a complete Azure architect. As I said, architect is a person who's responsible to provide, design and solution, implement and deploy applications on cloud, come up with a robust or reliable solution for long term, understanding about end-to-end knowledge about the architecture, DevOps, and so many things. So this would give you that particular knowledge. If you're someone who has a keen interest to start your career in Azure down the line, and if you're looking for the best option to differentiate yourself in the market, and if you want to avoid the competition, so learning more skills and getting more exposure is always beneficial. And I'll walk you through how the training program will be conducted. And if at all you have any questions, I think Amit has a question here. If you will be able to call, will I be able to guide and suitable for non-IT candidate to get a job in the industry? Yes, Amit. Even non-IT professionals have approached us, and they have taken up training courses with Intellipaat, and right now they are pursuing and have secured a good job in cloud and various other technologies here. Yes, after the webinar, you can surely call me or drop me a WhatsApp message, and I would surely be able to help you. If any other questions are there, you can let me know. So I'll get into the key highlights. So these are all the key highlights of the program. Entire program includes around 235 hours of instructor-led training. Now, when I say instructor-led training, these are online, live, interactive, virtual classes, which will be conducted on batches. We have 2 batches with us, and one is a weekday batch. Weekday batches would start from Tuesday to Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday in the morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. So this is a weekday batch, and we also have a weekend batch that would be on Saturday and Sunday, 8 to 11 p.m. in the evening. So this is a weekend batch. So as per your requirement, you can choose the weekday or weekend classes, and you can complete the courses one by one as per your availability and your preference. And this is online classes. As I said earlier, 12, 15 years of experience IT professionals will be conducting the classes. That too, a Microsoft certified trainer will be taking up the training here, and he or she will be able to assist you throughout the training and with the practicals and projects too. So this is overall 235 hours for the 6 programs included in the package, and you can do it at your own meantime. And the next part is the self-paced videos. Now, once you take up the training with us, after the enrollment is completed, we will immediately give you access to your LMS, Learning Management System portal. And once you log into the portal, you will have all the 9 courses available over there, along with 215 hours of self-paced videos. Self-paced videos are pre-recorded video tutorials, wherein which whatever the instructor is going to be teaching you in the future, all of that is available to you in hand for your learning reference. So these are reference materials and videos, and study materials like PPTs, PDFs, ebooks, assignments, projects, exercises, everything can be accessed directly by logging into the LMS portal from any device. You can access it. And even the live sessions which you are attending, that will also get recorded and it will get uploaded in the LMS. Within 6 hours after every session, it will be getting uploaded. I hope that part is clear. If you do have any questions or queries, feel free to put it in the Q&A box. And next thing is the projects and the exercises. Like I said, this is a very practical project-oriented program. Our more focus will be on upscaling and training individuals to be in such a way that they are ready for the industry and they're able to solve any real-time challenges asked in the interview. So it would include around 130 hours of real-time projects and exercises. Every module will have its own hands-on exercises, and every course will have its own real-time projects. And you will gain experience here. That experience will give you good qualifications to apply for a job and also crack any interview. So 130 hours is total, and certifications are also included. I'll show you the sample certification and I'll walk you through the career services too. You can see what are the roles as an Azure Architect plays here. You can see the skills which you can master. We will teach you about a lot of services on cloud, and few of them are mentioned here, the tools which will be getting covered. And these are the projects where we start from beginner, intermediate, and advanced level projects into different domain. And it's highly relevant to the industry and designed by industry experts. You will get a real world experience here. These are few career transition mentioned about our students who have taken who have taken admission in our program and have successfully got a job. This is one example where he has got a two-job offer with 400% of salary hike, and there are non-IT and non-technical professionals as well who have jumped into cloud and successfully be able to pursue their career. You can see many examples here. So this is one person who's coming from a non-technical background, customer support executive, have successfully transitioned into a cloud architect associate after completion of a training. You can hear the success story also. There are many such examples. And even this is another example here. You can see so many more. This is another person, non-technical to DevOps. So I think one of the students had the question about non-IT background to switch into cloud. Surely it is possible with a good training and some good certification and qualifications. So these are the certifications which is going to be getting covered, and after every course you will get certification from Intellipaat as well as Microsoft certification of achievement. The sample is given here. You will get around 6 certifications for all the respective programs individually after completion of every course, and there would be a signature of a Microsoft certified trainer and the Microsoft logo along with the Learning Institute partner network Intellipaat. So these certification will give you high recognition while you try to apply for a job. And also Intellipaat training certifications is recognized in many MNCs, as we have been providing corporate training throughout 10 years in the industry, and they would value the certification as well. And a certification is always helpful and beneficial for you to get recognized. You need some qualification in cloud to apply for a job. So these certifications are surely going to help you. You can see from industry trends and the peer learning portal. Peer learning portal is for the students who have taken the enrollment with us, so they can connect with their peers. You will have such a portal wherein which you will get class notification, hackathon challenges, career services by the end of the training, major announcements, collaborative learning, and so many more. So this is for connecting with your peers and giving you a virtual learning experience to have interaction virtually. That is also one thing which is very important when you're doing an online training. And we also do provide career services. So once you're done with the training, you should also get guidance and support. So Intellipaat has a placement team and a proper job support for every student. We'll have you with the job assistance first. Now we have around 500 plus hiring partners, and we have around 80 to 120 plus corporates and MNCs tied up with us. So we will be giving you assured interviews from our side. And we also have our own job portal. It's Intellipaat job portal that will be activated, and you'll be given premium access to the student once you have completed 80% of any of the above courses for the masters. And interview preparation will also be there. So before we schedule the interview for you, you will go through n number of mock interviews with a technical expert who will give you a feedback based on your performance and try to improve you and give you references. And also there will be one-on-one career mentoring. Every student's profile is different, so we'll connect you with a subject mentor, an expert, or a career mentor who has good knowledge and good idea about the career roadmap in Azure. So that person will check your educational background, your past experience, and whatever your future career objective is. He or she will be giving a complete learning roadmap for us, the career roadmap for switching or starting a career in Azure. So this is interview preparation, and we have profile building here. There would be career orientation sessions conducted throughout the training course for you to build your skills and according to whatever is expected by the hiring managers when applying for a job, and stay up to track according to whatever requirements are there. And we also have a resume building team at Intellipaat who will create and prepare your resume entirely on whatever skills you have gained, whatever projects you have worked on, whatever hands-on experience you have, what all certifications you have got. Everything will be updated directly from our end. And LinkedIn profile building assistance will also be there from the career service team. So these are all the career services included within the training cost of the program itself. I hope that is clear. And if at all anybody has any questions or queries, do put it in the chat box. And you can see our alumni is working at various and big MNCs and many Fortune 500 companies too. And these are all few examples. And we have the fee structure here. So Now there is two modes of learning for the training. We have self-paced and we have online classroom training plus self-paced. So the preferred one is online classroom training, where you get all the live interactive virtual classes with the instructor, along with everything in self-paced will be coming in as a plus, where you can access the materials at any convenient time by logging into the portal, and side by side attend the classes also and have an interaction with the instructor and guide through. So one-on-one doubt resolution sessions will also be there. If at all you're stuck somewhere apart from the live lectures, if you need some learning support or any guidance or assistance, you can directly reach out to our support team by dropping in your query or connecting over the call and explain or elaborate your question or query. If it's a technical query, a subject matter expert would connect to you one-on-one and assist you with the technical doubts. And if it's an operational query, then in that case, my operation team will immediately do the needful by providing whatever information is required. So there would be 24/7 lifetime support. And the one difference about Intellipaat and any other institute in the market right now is now we offer lifetime access. Now, when I say lifetime access, it's not only for the videos or the materials what we give, it's also for the online classroom training. So it's clearly written over here. You can attend and repeat as many batches you want for lifetime. So there is no constraint or there is no restriction. You can attend as many classes you want and you can keep on repeating it. And there would also be lifetime free upgradation. So if at all, let's say you are, if at all, let's say the Microsoft Azure certifications get upgraded or a new version is coming up, because cloud is a very evolving technology, and AWS or Azure introduces new services every 6 to 12 months, and they make modifications and they upgrade the versions of the certifications as well. So if any upgradation happens in the future, you as a student will get the free upgradation also. It's written here, your complete LMS will get updated, new videos and materials and documents will be provided without any additional charges. And you can also come back to us for the online classes and repeat the training once again. So that's the best privilege which every student gets. And this is something which no other institute offers. And for the students who are attending the webinar today, if at all you're planning to make the enrollment, you can reach out to us. We have discount coupons and vouchers. We'll be able to give you an offer of 30% on the master's program. There's a coupon which I have with me. You can either reach out to me on the call or just drop me a WhatsApp message. I'll be able to share the coupon with you. You can apply it on the website. Additionally, from 10%, you would get a 30% of discount, almost a 40% of concession, and you can enroll. So before enrolling, if you have any questions or queries, you may feel free to reach me on the provided number or the email address shared with you, and I would be happy to help you out on the same. So I hope everything is clear regarding the training program. And if at all any of you have any doubts or questions or queries, feel free to put it in the chat box or the Q&A box, and I would be happy to resolve the same. Any questions, anyone, feel free to put it in the chat box if anybody has any doubts or questions. Okay, I think most of the things are clear with all the students. Anyway, it was a pleasure here, and I hope you all enjoyed the session, and I also look forward to meeting you all in the future webinars as well. And do reach out to us if you're planning to go for a professional training on any technology. We have courses on different platforms and different technologies in the market. You can explore the courses as well here. In cloud also, we have a lot of programs. So for knowing more details, you can reach out to us and on the provided number, or even by dropping your details in the chat box, in the inquiry box, and we'll be able to help you out. So it was a pleasure. I hope you all have a great evening, and thank you so much for your time.